that we purchased about a week and a half ago. Now we've had some time to look over the vehicle in a little more detail and start some work. As you can see in the background, we've already started to remove some of the paint to get ready for some Raptor liner. We've also removed the front and rear bumpers to remove some of the dents that were in the bumpers. Now we're not looking for showroom perfection here, we're just looking to do this on an extremely low budget. We hope to be in this Jeep for about $1,200 or so when we're done, and that includes the cost of the vehicle. So we're going to walk around the vehicle and kind of show a few things that we've done over the last week or so. Like I just said, we kind of taped off the striped area here in the hood. We're going to Raptor line this. This has been sanded briefly already now with 80 grit. As you can see, some of the areas had some surface rust that need to be spot primed. We're going to go over these areas again with 100 grit just to clean it up a little bit more, but basically this is going to be about all the sanding that is going to happen with these panels. Alright, as you can see, we have the front bumper off. We've knocked out most of the minor dents that were in it and gave it a brief sanding with 80 grit to sort of remove the surface rust and some of the loose paint. Towards the side of the vehicle, we're going to try to keep the Raptor liner within these body lines of the Jeep. There is a definitive line at the top and at the bottom that we have taped off here, and we've sanded the side of the body with 80 grit real quick once. We're going to go over it again with 100 grit to kind of clean it up. The sides of the body are in very good shape. We did have a minor sort of deep scratch gouge on the door that we've filled with some body filler. We're going to spot prime this and give it a quick sand again, but that's about as far as we're going to take that door. Alright, as you can see, we've sanded the rockers with 80 grit to remove any light rust and loose paint. The rockers are in very good shape, so they didn't really need any work. Towards the back of the vehicle in the lower corner here, there was some rust that we cut out and we fiberglassed over. Now most of this area gets covered with a bumper cover, so we're not really concerned on how well this looks. We're going to clean it up a little more, sand it, put a little body fill on here and kind of clean it up. The plastic bumper cover covers this whole area, so you won't even see this. This will get Raptor lined also to keep out any moisture and rust. Towards the back here, we've removed the rear bumper, and we gave the rear bumper a similar treatment to the front. We removed any big dents out of the bumper and gave it a light sanding. We drilled two approximately 3/4 inch holes at the top of the bumper here to access the top mounting nut of the bumper bracket. The issue that you have is that over time those nuts become sort of rusted to the stud here. And to get a wrench in through the side of the bumper is kind of awkward and sometimes impossible. So what you can do is sort of pull the trim back after opening up the rear hatch. You can kind of see where this stud sticks out and make a mark and drill two holes, one on each side. It's a pretty easy fix for that. You could cover these holes with a plug or just leave them open for access for later on. Again, we're not going for show quality here. This is really just a fun budget XJ. Also, when we had the bumper off, we cleaned the rear hitch. Had some surface rust on it. We hit it with a wire brush and a wire wheel and a little flap disc to clean off the surface rust. Not a big deal. That'll get Raptor lined also to clean it up. We'll walk on to the driver's side and see what we've done over here. Again, we sort of had the same treatment on the bottom here of the quarter. Had a small rust hole that we cut out the rust and sort of fiberglassed in and sealed. Now this is perfectly fine for what we're trying to do here. There is a bumper cover that goes over this. You're not even going to see this, but this will be Raptor lined, and so will this body side here across the whole side of the driver's side, just like the passenger. Again, the rockers were sanded with 80 grit to clean off any loose rust and loose paint. The rockers are in very good shape. Unfortunately, on the inside, we noticed some rust from the floorboard. So what we did is we cut out this section and we fiberglassed it in with 2 layers of fiberglass cloth. Now this is perfectly acceptable for us. It's going to be a nice solid waterproof repair. Again, we're not looking for a show quality Jeep here, we're just looking to make it safe. We also have to fix the door check. I have one on order. It's going to take a couple more days to get here. We'll give you an update once that's installed. When we first test drove the car, we noticed it had some front end noise coming from the passenger side. So we examined it and we found out, after checking out all the ball joints, the tie rod ends and the pitman arm and all the suspension components in the front, that it wasn't any of those items. Those were nice and tight. The problem was the sway bar was banging around. In our case, you could tell the bushings are kind of just old and they're starting to crack and they're just worn out. So the end link here we replaced, and we also replaced the sway bar bushings. Now we replaced these items for about 20 bucks or so. They were not expensive. Easy fix, a lot easier than fixing a ball joint or a tie rod or having the front end realigned. Very simple fix. We've already test drove it. It's cleared up the problem, so we're happy with that. Okay guys, we popped open the hood. We wanted to look over the components of the engine for a tune-up. We determined that the cap, the rotor, and the wires were in very good shape, and we decided to leave those alone. What we did change was the spark plugs. We decided to go with a platinum spark plug. We also changed the air filter and cleaned out the throttle body. Gave it like a mild tune-up. Jeep ran phenomenal before. We started it up again, still runs phenomenal. This is just sort of basic maintenance. We're going to give it an oil change and change some of the other fluids out in the transmission and the transfer case and the axles later on. But right now, the engine runs great. That's pretty much all we're going to do to the engine at this point. Alright guys, this is sort of a brief update of the work that's been completed so far on this Jeep XJ. We'll give you guys a few more updates as the weeks come along. Now there'll be some links in the description of the parts that we've used on this project so far, and also links to our social media and our merch store. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Thank you.